Hi everyone and welcome back to another video. So in today's video I'm going to be showing you all of the books that I read in November. I had actually a really good reading month this month where I read over 40 books. I think it was like 43 or something like that. I can't remember the specific number, but it was over 40, which surprised me because at the beginning of the month I did have like a bit of a slower start, but the last like 2-ish weeks, I don't know why, but I was just reading a lot, which is obviously amazing. So I am proud of the amount that I read during this month. Let's just get on into all the books that I read. So the first book that I read was The Truth About Tomorrow by B. Celeste. This book I enjoyed so much. Now I know that it's not going to be for everyone, which is obviously completely understandable because this is about our main female character, and she is like being fostered out by this couple who you actually read in the first book, and she ends up, I'll read the back. It says age is just a number, just like he's just a boy and I'm just a girl, except that's not true, is it? Because 15 may be a number, but it's bigger than that, bigger than us. It's a number that separates us, an excuse that keeps us apart, but I'm not willing to give in until I get what I want. After all, how many other girls can bring a grown man to his knees with one little smile? So yeah, you can tell that it's not going to be for everyone, but I personally really enjoyed this one. I rated it 5 stars, so obviously it was like a great start to the month because my first book of the month was 5 stars, which is amazing. And at this point I had high hopes for the month, but then obviously I had to go straight on into the novella, which is The Truth About Us, and I also rated this one 5 stars because this is obviously the story of the couple in The Truth About Tomorrow, but like things that happen after their life after that, but like when they can kind of fully be together and stuff. And I really enjoyed this one because obviously it was a nice small little wrap up to how their life was after The Truth About Tomorrow and like the troubles they had and stuff, which I really enjoyed. Then we have Love Unwritten by Lauren Asher. I rated this one 4.5 stars. I actually really enjoyed this one. I started it in, I believe it was October, and at the time it wasn't the time to read it. I don't know why, but I went on a full rant of a few bad things about it in a reading vlog, my mood reading vlog. But I picked it back up, started fresh, started from the beginning, read it, and I actually really enjoyed it. I saw it from a different perspective, which was nice, but I love the characters in this. So this is about Ellie, and she is the nanny for Raphael's son. Raphael and Ellie have known each other since high school, I believe. Like they've known each other for a while, but obviously years later she's the nanny, and then obviously it's like the single dad trope, all that stuff, all the tropes that I love basically. And I did really enjoy this one. And there is also I would say disability wrap because the son is struggling with his eyesight, and it talks about that a little bit as well, which I found interesting and also new because that's something that isn't obviously normally talked about in books. So I felt that it was a different read, which was nice. Then I read My Darling Arrow, which I also rated 4.5 stars. Again, this one is quite a thick book and I read it so quickly. I think I read it in like one sitting. So this is a sister's ex-boyfriend. Now, female main character, she had liked him for a while, but obviously he was his sister's boyfriend and then fiance, and they like obviously move away, live their life, and she's like, well, kind of gotta forget about him. But then he ends up coming back and she has been like writing him letters and stuff like as a way to cope. It sounds weird, but it makes more sense like if you read it. And yeah, it's a romance like that. But I really found this book interesting. I loved it, but I don't like the sister, and that's all I'm going to say is I did not like the sister. She was not very nice. I'm just going to say that. I'm just going to leave it there. But I would highly recommend this one. Obviously, again, it's not going to be a book for everyone, and that's completely understandable. But if you think it's going to be a book for you, then I would highly recommend that you read it. Then I read For the Fans, which I rated 4.25 stars. Again, another one that I went into not really knowing much about it but really enjoyed. So it's about two main male characters, and they are both stepbrothers. Well, they end up being stepbrothers, and as soon as they meet they don't like each other, so they're enemies, and they have this agreement, stay away from each other type thing. They don't want to have anything to do with each other, but years go by and they're still enemies, and then eventually our one main character needs a favor from the other one, and I'm just going to leave it there because it's better to go into this like blind, kind of not knowing too much, because I just think it's better like that. But I was obsessed with this story, and again read it really quickly. I think I read it in like 1 or 2 sittings. It was addictive. I could not put it down, and I just wanted to keep knowing what happens next. But this story is also very heartbreaking once you find out like some stuff, and it's it's so heartbreaking, but I'm obsessed with the story. Then I read The Wrong Bride, and again I rated this one 4.25 stars, and this one again is a sister's Beyonce. Now this one is like a little bit of a twist because with our female main character, she is arranged marriage type thing to her sister's fiance, because her sister basically is like, I don't want to marry him type thing. So then obviously she ends up having to marry him, and it's kind of like that. But I was so fascinated with the story. Again, I was obsessed. I couldn't put it down, and I have read more of the series since, which we'll get to, and I would definitely say so far this is my favourite within the series. And again, the sister's not nice. There's a little bit of a pattern here, but I think that's what makes it more okay in my head, because I don't like the sister in both of the books that I've talked about today, so it just makes it a little bit more okay. But oh my gosh, there was an ending that really frustrated me. I can't really say much, but there was a part of this book where I was so frustrated. Obviously it was like a big part of the story and a big part of like a growth type thing, so in my opinion. So I feel like it was important to the story, but like it annoyed me so much. Then we have The Pumpkin Spice and Poltergeist, and I rated this one 3 stars. So I don't really remember too much about this one. I did listen to the audiobook, but the preface that I was getting from it is it's about a female male character, and her girlfriend ended up dying in a car accident. Then like the spirit of her girlfriend like ends up coming back, watching over her and helping her find someone new, because like someone who she can like move on with. And I found that a different preface, but it was very interesting. I would definitely recommend it. It's more of like a full type read, so I don't know, maybe like in October pick it up. But I don't know, it was a different preface. It was interesting. And then I read The Temporary Wife, which is the second book with the other one I was reading. This one I rated 3.5 stars. This one was like a workplace one, so she is his secretary, but then they end up getting arranged marriage together, but they've known each other for well, like she's been his secretary for a while, but then they have to marry each other. Again, another interesting preface. I did enjoy it compared to the first book, which I enjoyed a lot more. I would still recommend it. I would recommend the series because all of them are arranged marriages, because not saying too much, all I'm gonna say is it's the grandmother that arranges the marriages. But yeah, with this one they have rules to do with the marriage, and that is don't fall in love, keep their marriage a secret at work, and share a bed every night. Those are the rules. Again, found really interesting because, well, we just know all those rules are going to be broken. And then we have The Fury, and I'm going to be completely 100% real. I rated this one 2 stars. I listened to the audiobook, which I feel like kind of ruined my rating a little bit. I don't know, but I'm going to be 100% honest when I say I don't really remember much about this. All I know is it's a thriller, but I found it really hard to follow along. But again, I don't know if that was just because I was listening to the audiobook. Maybe I need to give this another reread, because audiobooks don't do it for every story. But it says it begins with a phone call and it ends with a murder. 7 friends gather on a Greek island, among them a playwright and an actress, her second husband and their wayward son. Their jealousy betrayed, unrequited love, a handful of secrets and too many lies. 36 hours after they arrive, one of them will be dead. So it does sound interesting. Like I said, I just feel like I made the mistake of listening to the audiobook for this one, and I struggled to follow along, so I don't really remember much about it. But at the time when I read it, I rated it 2 stars. And then I read the third book in the series, which is The Unwanted Marriage, and I rated this one 3 stars. Again, a little bit less of a favourite. I did find myself a little bit more bored with this one, but it's again a billionaire arranged marriage romance. But with this one, it's about Faye, and she kind of like wants to live her own life. She feels like hasn't really been able to do that. She's a pianist, and she was actually going out with another guy when her father's like, no, you're going to marry Dion Windsor. So she ends up marrying him instead. That's the type of book it is, and let's just say Dion is very jealous. I mean, in this book, I like reading about that. Then we have Lick by Kylie Scott, and I do have a physical copy of this, but I can't seem to find it. I think it's on the bottom shelf of my TBR somewhere. But I did rate this one 3 stars, and as a review, I really enjoyed the first half of the book, but would definitely say it was insta love. This is about a rock star band, I think. They are in Las Vegas. They have a one night stand, and when they wake up they're married, and so they kind of have to deal with that. I don't think this is in any order. Goodreads seem to be all over the place on my tablet. But then we have Tis the Season for Secrets, which is a Christmas book, and it was also an arc from NetGalley, so I did write a review, and I'm just going to read that review to you now. So I rated 3 stars, and I put one day shortly before Christmas, the heroine receives a chest from her late grandmother. She discovers that her mother lives in a magical Christmas village and is waiting for her there. Along with the way, she meets Will, who falls in love with her and helps her uncover the secrets of her family's past. I love the magical description of the village: mountains, snow, reindeer and sledging. It sounds like the most peaceful place. I love the characters and their humour at times. I wish the book's pace was quicker and the beginning of the book felt like it dragged on a little bit. I felt like most of the beginning of the book there wasn't much romance involved. It was mostly learning about Juliet's story. This was such a charming little Christmas read. It's perfect for a cozy night and a nice cup of hot chocolate. Now, if you love the tropes one night stand, holiday romance, winter wonderland, family secrets, forced proximity, dual POV and bodyguard / editor, then this will be the book for you. Then I read Grave Words. Now, I did rate this one 1 star. It was also a arc from NetGalley, and I went into this book thinking it was going to be a cozy mystery, which it has the element of, but it just didn't give me that cozy mystery vibe. The book also lost my interest quickly and I just couldn't become engaged in the story. The storyline seemed cluttered from early on, making it difficult to stay engaged in the story. I didn't feel a connection between the characters, which made me feel disconnected from the story. Yeah, that one was a favourite of mine. I was actually wanting to read this in October, like Halloween time, when this is like set, or fall time, but I unfortunately never got around to it, so I did read it within in my opinion the Christmas season, but it was November. So then I listened to the audiobook for Santa Overboard, which was also an arc via NetGalley, and I rated this 2 stars, and I said Santa Overboard is a contemporary fiction book about a group of friends in the area they live in. The book is a cozy quick holiday read. I loved the friend group. I loved their dynamic and how they were there for each other no matter what. However, the romance and pacing wasn't for me in this book. The chemistry between the characters was not there. Also, the COVID reference let this book down a lot, and I think most readers would agree. And the tropes were this was small town romance, holiday cheer, second chance romance, friend group dynamics, light-hearted fun and slow burn romance. Okay, and then I read Under the Mistletoe collection. We have Cruel Winter with You, Merry Ever After, All by My Elf, Only Santa's in the Building, and Merriment and Mayhem. And all of these I actually enjoyed, so I did give them a few different ratings. So Cruel Winter with You I rated 3 stars and said this was quick and cute. But the basis of this one is former childhood friends, and they have kind of like grew up together, and then main male character admits to her that he likes her, and she's like, I've got a boyfriend, I'm sorry I can't, type thing. But then eventually they admit their feelings, type thing. Then we have Merry Ever After, which I rated 3.5 stars, and I'd said did some of the things make me cringe? Yes, but did I love these two? 100%. But this one is about a single mom and a farmer, and the farmer goes into the single mom's like thrift store and is like looking for jeans, but he can't find any that fits him because he's known as like Giant Farmer. So she ends up doing a nice thing and making him some jeans, and this one's kind of like a love at first sight type situation, but it's like boy falls first type thing. We have All by My Elf, and I rated this one 2.25 stars, and this one is where they're both professors, Nina and William, they're professors. There's like a snowstorm, so they end up getting stuck together. Then we have Only Santa's in the Building. I rated this one 2.5 stars. This one is about Evie, and she goes for a Christmas nap and she has a crush on her upstairs neighbour. That's all I know. And then we have Merriment and Mayhem, which I rated 3 stars, and this one is about Frilly, and she is baking. She ends up setting her house on fire, so then fire brigades come, and that is when, you know, she's interested in one of the fire brigades brigade's interested in her. Nothing really happens, and then she is trying to decorate a house. She gets stuck, and then obviously I have to call the fire brigade again to help her get down, but then the same fire brigade comes back. So those are quick summaries of all of those books. But yeah, the short little novellas, like when I say like between 50 and 70 pages, I recommend you read them during the Christmas season because obviously they're all Christmassy. And then I read The Likelihood of You by Holly Duke, and I rated this one 3 stars. Again, I don't really remember too much about this one, but it says when Florence Days returns home, find her soon-to-be husband in bed with her older sister, the last thing she expected to feel was relief. Or was it? After years of dulling down her dream of owning a bakery to please him, wasn't it about time she took her dreams back into her own hands? Her answer came 10 hours of few tears and 1 flight to New York later. Now on fresh soil, she swore to herself she'd make her dreams real on her own and build a life for herself, and while staying far away from the male species, which was going well into a certain brown-eyed famous actor with a smile that could be situated for sunshine walks into her life. Jacob Emerson is the newbie of the silver screen, but his entrance into the stardom didn't go quite smoothly as he had imagined. And then it continues. But yeah, this one was really fun. If you, I'd say it's more given like the fall vibe. So again, another one I'd recommend to read during like the October-November time. But I don't know, I really enjoyed it. It was a nice quick read. And then I read the novella, new Freedom McFadden novella, The Housemaid's Wedding, and I rated it 2 stars. I'm going to be completely honest. I felt like this novella was quite pointless in the sense of I didn't really feel like there was a need for it, and I don't know, it was very unfulfilling near the end. There was no point to it. Learn a lot about different locks. Like, it just goes into a lot of detail about things that didn't need to happen, and I don't know, it was pointless. And I don't want to say, because I feel really horrible saying it, like, I don't like to say this about people, but I don't know, it just kind of felt like a money grab type thing, because obviously the Housemaid series, is it? It's like one of her popular series, so I feel like it was just to add to that. I don't know, but it was quite pointless, and to be fair, I wouldn't recommend even trying it because I just felt like I was wasting my time afterwards. Then I read How My Neighbour Stole Christmas by Megan Quinn, and I rated this one 4 stars. I'm not going to go too much into my thoughts about it because I literally not long saw a vlog about all of my thoughts for this one in my in holiday romance alongside with my December darling. I rated this one 4.25 stars. So again, I'm not going to go too much into my details and my thoughts about this one. Alongside Christmas Blanket by Candy Steiner, I rated 3 stars. Again, spoke a lot about it in my vlog that you've not long saw, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. Then I read If I Have a Daughter One Day, and I rated this one 4 stars. I actually really enjoyed this one. There was like one specific poem that I really enjoyed, and I'd say this is more of like a women empowerment type poem, which I really enjoyed. I'd definitely say it's one of my favourite poems that I have read, and I don't really read many, but there was one that I just felt like it said a lot. It spoke loudly, and I like that one. Then we have I Look Good on You, and I rated this one 2 stars. This one is just a novella, and you will be seeing it in a vlog coming soon at some point, but it's basically about, I think she's 18 roughly. She lives with her aunt and uncle, but she escapes next door and just chills by the pool to study, and then one day this man is like viewing the house to buy it, and they meet, and he finds her attractive and likes her pretty much from the start. I don't even know how old he is. I think he's like 30, 40, I don't know, but anyway, he ends up buying the house just so he can live next door to her. It's quite ridiculous, I'm not going to lie. It's one of those like ridiculous, non-realistic insta love type thing, and it does feel rushed, but that's the point of it, so that is why it's like a 2 star. It's a book if you want to get your reading goal down before the year ends type thing. Then I read The Atlas 6 by Olivia Blake. I'm not going to talk too much about this one, but basically I rated 2 stars because I felt like it just dragged on a lot. I did get bored quite quickly, and I was listening to the audiobook. I do talk about this one in an upcoming reading vlog, so like I said, I don't want to talk about it too much, but this one is basically about 6 magicians, and they end up getting invited into this like trial competition thing, and only 5 of them will come out of it. Basically 5 of them will win and 1 of them won't make it. So yeah, it's pretty simple, but yeah, I don't know what it was, and this was the one that has been on my TBR for a while. Like, I'm so glad that this is off. I'm so glad I've read it, but I was disappointed by it, and I do have the second book, and I'm like, do I even want to give it a go? I am thinking of reading it just because I own it, but anything after that, like to continue the series, like there's a 3rd book, I don't think I will, to be completely honest. Then we have The Polar Express, and I rated this one 4 stars. This one's like out of my comfort zone. I didn't really know what it was. Again, I'm not going to talk too much about it because it's coming in an upcoming vlog. Most of these are coming up in an upcoming vlog, so I'm not going to talk too much about any of these anymore. But this one surprised me. This one's actually like a children's book, so it has like pictures and stuff. It's really quick, but I rated it 4 stars because it shocked me so much. Like, I was expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but it's such an important story and heartfelt. I don't know, I really enjoyed this one. Then I read A Christmas Carol. Now this one I didn't rate, and I did write a review on Goodreads saying not going to rate this as I was listening to the audiobook and got a bit lost within the story, and I don't feel it is fair as I needed the physical copy in front of me to follow along with. So yeah, I was listening to the audiobook first because obviously I don't have a physical copy, but I felt like, because it's more of like an older story, obviously the writing is a bit more complicated. So me just listening to the audiobook, I was losing myself within the story and everything. So I didn't feel like it was fair for me to rate this one, as I felt like I needed a physical copy to either read along or listen to the audiobook and like dual read type thing. So I didn't feel like it was fair to rate it. I don't even feel like it's fair for me to like have an opinion on it really, because I don't really remember much about it because I couldn't really follow along with the story. And I read Holiday Hideaway. I rated this one 2 stars as well. This one isn't really a memorable one for me, but I think it's just because it's 72 pages. Like, it's a very short read. But this one, the thing on Goodreads, it says, from New York Times bestselling author Mary Kay Andrews comes a charming holiday romance about a newly single 30-something whose unauthorized vacation rental turns into a hilarious game of hide and seek when the new owner unexpectedly shows up. But yeah, this one was a nice, quick, easy read. It was fun to listen to. Then I finally got to The Cousins, and I'm not going to speak on this one too much because, again, it is going to be coming up within a vlog. But I did rate it 3 stars. I was quite like disappointed by this one a little bit, but I don't know if that's just because I had high hopes for it, but it was interesting. But like I said, I'm just going to leave it there. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I don't want to ruin any future reading vlogs. So if you want to see my thoughts, remember to subscribe, and a reading vlog will be coming soon. The same with Permanent Record. I rated this one 2 stars, I believe. Again, not going to talk too much about it because it's going to be in the same vlog as The Cousins. This one has also been on my TBR for a very long time. So this month I feel like I did well with reading books that have been on my TBR for the longest. So I'm proud of myself for that. But yeah, more thoughts coming up soon in a reading vlog. And then obviously the same with Alone With You in the Ether, which has also been a physical TBR for a while, so I'm glad that I read it. I also read another one by Olivia Blake. It kind of all makes sense to me now, but I did rate it 3 stars. And then Once More with Feelings is also another one that has been on my TBR for a while that I have now finally read, and again coming up in a reading vlog with all my thoughts and stuff, so I'm not going to speak too much about it. I'm glad that I've read it. I'm glad that I've got a lot of books off my TBR that have been on there the longest. Like, what 5 books? That's pretty impressive. And I read The Christmas List, and I love this one so much. I rated it 4 stars, and it's a quick novella, only 142 pages, but it's about a small town single dad. So the plot is it's about a main female character. She is a teacher in the small town, and she has a new student. Now this new student is actually the daughter of a main male character, and a main female character and a main male character actually dated when I was like younger in high school. I think they said it was like 10 years ago roughly, and obviously he moved away and stuff, and for his career, and ended up having a kid. Yeah, he's ended up moving back to a small town, and there's like this Christmas competition that happens every single year in this small town, and they end up competing in this competition for the daughter Lucy, because Lucy really wants to compete. They end up being a team because there has to be at least 3 people within this team, like within each team. They end up being a team, and that kind of brings them back together. And yeah, so it's also kind of like a second chance, but it's really interesting. I'd highly recommend you pick it up because it was so good. Okay, then I read some more NetGalley arcs. So we have Christmas Cancellation, which I rated 2 stars, and I put Noella's having some bad luck in her life. Her boyfriend just dumped her after stealing her promotion. She's quit her job and she has to go back to the new town she's avoiding for 4 years. The day before Christmas Eve, or she'll lose her inheritance. Her flight is then cancelled, and she finds herself in close proximity with Cole, who also so happens to be the grumpy pilot. I'm not going to say my thoughts, which I have written, but I'm not going to say them because it obviously is coming up in a vlog soon. So I'll just tell you what the books are about. And then I also read It's Beginning to Look a Lot Like Christmas, which is a novella, rated 2 stars. This one does have my thoughts. I didn't really say what the book was about in my review of this one. It says 2 rival traveller writers are sent on a once-in-a-lifetime holiday to learn the true meaning of Christmas without killing each other. Then we have This Christmas, and I rated this one 2 stars also. Again, I didn't really write what this one was about, but it says it's Christmas time and everyone is in the holiday spirit. A no-kill animal shelter, June Book Farms, and June Book sponsors the annual Christmas parade to raise money and awareness for their shelter. The staff have King and Queen of the parade will spend the holiday filming adorable Christmas vintages to bring in donations and find forever homes for lovable pups before Santa comes. And that's a lovely story if you are an animal lover. Then I read Frosted by the Girl Next Door. I've also rated this one 2 stars. It says Casey Stevens needs distance from the movie producer parents and her social media starlet ex-wife when she lands in Rocky Springs with a bruised ego and a pile of cash. The quaint tourist town seems like the perfect place. But yeah, again, not going to say too much about this, my thoughts on this book specifically, because it is going to be in a reading vlog where you can know all my thoughts about these up. Then the host for Prose Book Club, that is run by Vanessa from Read with Dr. B and Brie from the Booktube. They was doing like this, they was doing a weekend where you basically read smut, but it's like weird and it's like food themed. So I unfortunately was busy that weekend, so I like was popping into the sprints and stuff just to say hey and things, but I did read 2 of the novellas that was chosen. And yeah, so we have It's a Big Real Deal, and this one I rated 2 stars because I said it was funny and entertaining. The story itself was boring, as it did make me laugh, but like the story itself I was a bit like okay, well, I'm a bit bored. And then the second one was Seduced by the Pumpkin Spice Latte. Now, this one I also rated 2 stars. This one was questionable, and my review was, this gets 2 stars because of how it made me laugh so many times because it's just so ridiculous. Did I cringe? Yes. Did I find it hilarious? Also yes. This one was a strange one. A strange one. Did I sit there thinking, oh my god, what am I reading? But did it make me laugh? And was it amusing to me? Yes. Also yes. So those are all the books that I read in November. Like I said, read quite a few. Some of them I felt like I couldn't really do a review for because they're in upcoming reading vlogs. That's the side of doing BOOKMAS and also trying to do a wrap-up video that I want to get up like at the beginning of December, but I was obviously filming in November, like, and stuff, so it was complicated. I was thinking I don't want to ruin it, so you will be seeing all the books, the reviews for the books, in videos that are to come during BOOKMAS, so you will see it all soon. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of like gatekeeping, but I didn't want to ruin those reading vlogs. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. Please remember to like and subscribe and leave this emoji if you watched until the end, and I hope to see you all in my next one. Bye.